Hey YouTube, back with another video today, and today we're going to be talking about the stocks of the future and what will they entail. So let's get started. I really wanted to talk to you guys about some really important things I think are going to happen here in the next 10 to 20 years that are going to change maybe for the stock market as a whole, or maybe some stocks or new technologies that are going to come that are going to really influence a game-changing era of exponential growth for the United States or for the future of the human race. With that being said, I think there's going to be some major leniencies with cannabis. Currently, as it stands, a lot of states are starting to pick up on how much money can be made from legalizing cannabis and how much is being taken away from the cartels. And a lot of people are also starting to realize that cannabis really isn't one of those things that are going to kill you. A lot of people had this mentality that if I smoked weed, then I would go into this kind of demonic kind of frenzy, and it was just a gigantic, horrible story about something that could have been medicinal. And people are starting to really grow onto that cannabis really wasn't that bad of a drug, and it may make you really hungry and give you cotton mouth and make you paranoid, but it's not going to kill you. And honestly, I think the Schedule 1 drug relation to this is absolutely absurd. I feel like the drug should be at least dropped down to a much lower tier. And what is that going to entail? Just like with cryptocurrencies, I also see the cannabis industry really taking off in a huge boom as well. And who's probably going to profit the most from it? Well, probably the companies that have been doing tobacco for a really long time. They're going to scoop up as many high profit margin based cannabis companies here in the next probably 10 to 20 years. Now, what you can do now is you can start looking into what kind of companies you would think you would like investing into those states and which ones are growing multi-state wide, so that when the time comes, you'll know which companies you can get the early works on when the New York Stock Exchange happens for the United States for the cannabis industry. Another one is artificial intelligence. We're now in a state where artificial intelligence is starting to get to a point where things are really getting out of hand, and machines are starting to learn from themselves. And when you're self-taught, being able to teach yourself how to learn is really important, and that's kind of the first steps of artificial intelligence. Being able to take a picture, look at something, or take other bits of data and learn from that and develop a different way to handle a completed task from what you have learned, saw, or heard, or all the senses that the human system has. What can artificial intelligence learn from that? And how will that change in the future? Currently, I mean, we've got artificial intelligence kind of coming in for the automotive industry with, the future of cars being autonomous. That's very, very likely into our future. I still think that full autonomy is still 10 years out, maybe 20 years out. But I think it's getting to a point where we might end up with that in my lifetime, where we end up with full autonomy for cars, and it would be very common to just hop into a car and have it take you from point A to point B with no one driving it. And how that's going to change our social networks, how that's going to change business, how much. I mean, if you think about it, just imagine if you saved 30 minutes to an hour off every single day of somebody's work. How much would that change advancements in technology, advancements in agriculture? Everything would see an economic boom from something like this. And, I think you're just going to see a huge spike of how technology will adapt. And what will come from that? Machine learning to be able to create its own individual thing that's higher than human intelligence is absolutely fascinating. Look at what happened with the Jeopardy, machine versus the best people of Jeopardy. It's just the machine is getting to a point where it's learned so much and it's going to learn more. I'm absolutely terrified for it, but I also think that it's a good economic boom, and in the next 10 to 20 years we could see an absolute massive increase, like discovering fire or water. I think I saw in a review of what artificial intelligence can really create and do. So like if you like this video, dislike if you dislike this video, and if you really like the video, please subscribe.